Hello everyone, this is Jebro. We're today talking about the Elixir Gun, the next kit I'm going to talk about in this series of engineer guides, and really trying to show you how useful it is, talking about the abilities very quickly as well, what the usage of it is, and maybe some things that you didn't know in combination with the traits as well. So we're going to start talking about the actual Elixir Gun abilities themselves, but first of all, this is what it looks like. It's another kit which comes out from your utility bar, of course. So if we press that utility there, number 7, you can see I go back to my main weapon. Then, of course, I go to that utility kit and then I am given 5 new skills. That's if you didn't know what kits were for engineering, you're just starting on the class as well. And that gives you 5 new abilities as well as 1 toolkit ability. So this is on number 7 here, which means it's the second tool belt ability, right here, because the heal is counted as a utility skill, and that's where these are situated right here. So it's not too difficult to know that. So Elixir Gun, it's pretty strong. It's supportive. It can give you some extra pressure. It can give you some extra, some boons and some condition removal as well, and it offers some nice mobility. I can explain it now as we go through the Elixir Gun. So the first skill, Tranquilizer Darts, right here. Fire a dart that bleeds and weakens foes. So bleed, at the moment in this build, is 88 damage as a base, and that is a 4-second stack there. And bleeding can be stacked for a lot, basically. 1,500 stacks is what's on the Wikipedia page for Guild Wars 2. That's pretty crazy. But bleed doesn't do a lot of damage, right off the bat. It's not a heavy damage condition. In bleeding isn't really what we're stacking in for the engineer especially. It's just a nice extra damage tick there. And then you can see the weakness, which is really kind of the more important point of this actual skill as well. And the damage is quite nice as well. So minus 50% endurance regeneration. So that's obviously how quick your dodge bar gets, filled up. So, 50% slower is pretty good. They're not able to avoid a lot more damage. And then obviously, the 50% fumble as well, which is very, very useful. So if we think about 50% fumble means, it's like glancing shots, which is the way it's described as well. It means some of your attacks don't have as much chance to actually hit. What does that mean? So it turns half of all hits into glancing blows that deal 50% less damage. And yeah, the actual weakness is stacked as well in duration. So if you're firing, let's just fire here at this target. You can see there, just keeps stacking up. And bleed keeps stacking up as well. So you've got the extra bleed there, so you can see it's ticking for 105. And then we've got the extra damage coming in as well. So if he was trying to hit me right now, he wouldn't have as much chance to actually potentially hit me as well, which is what, people forget that quite a lot. So it's very good sometimes to just stick in it if you're in a bit of a horrible situation and try and pack in this weakness. So, not bad. And you can see the combo finisher is a physical projectile as well for 20% chance. So physical projectiles I'll talk about in another video, but of course if you put down a field and you shoot your projectile through, depending on that field, you will get something there. You saw condition removal there as well. So next skill, Glob Shot. We'll leave the poor golem alone. He's had enough to deal with, I think. Glob Shot is fire a bouncing glob that cripples foes and it grants swiftness to you and your allies. Now, this is a pretty good. This is a pretty good ability, especially in the build I'm playing at the moment, going with Scrapper, because swiftness is going to give me a little bit of healing. So I don't get swiftness from many sources in this build, obviously. I get it from Elixir B, but depending on whether or not you're running permanent swiftness or whatever, depending on if you're running streamline kits or not invigorating speed, sorry, there's another trait. It's not in this actual build, but it's on another line where you can crit and you can get swiftness as well. But basically, it's a nice little extra heal, especially in this build, which is the meta in PvP at the moment for the engineer with Scrapper as your elite. But basically, you get 4.5 seconds of swiftness. As you can see there, it's 33% movement speed, and the cripple is always nice as well. So let's just have a look at that ability. You can see it bounces between myself and the golem. So if there's another player standing here, that projectile would actually bounce between the golem, and then it would bounce between the player and back to the golem as well. So it's like, that player is going to get 4 seconds of swiftness when it hits them. So that's, it's a pretty good ability. It comes off cooldown quite quickly. It's 8 seconds, it's not too bad. You've got 4.25 seconds swiftness. So, you've got 3.75 seconds worth of not swiftness before it comes back, if you want to explain it in that way. But it's a nice way to just, give yourself a bit of swiftness, and obviously in this build as well, it's actually going to give you a little bit of a heal as well. And obviously, the cripple is also very good. You can see there, minus 50% movement speed for 3 seconds. So that's always very effective. I have to remove that condition. And you can see the number of bounces is 3. So Fumigate. Spray a cone of elixir fumes, inflicting poison and vulnerability to foes and curing conditions on allies with every strike. So, conditions removed 5 there. Poison stacks is 5 and vulnerability as well. So let's see how, the application of that right now. So we're going to see how many ticks of poison and vulnerability stacks up. It says 5 each, of course, and it happens on nearly every hit. So you can see the quick stacks. Poison obviously ticks over quite quickly, but the extra vulnerability as well is very, very useful. You can see vulnerability 5% incoming damage and 5% incoming condition damage. That's power and conditions as well. So, it's a nice ability really, because we don't get a lot of poison, specifically in this build at the moment in PvP in January of 2016, of course. We're not using grenades. Grenade kit isn't a thing anymore, so we haven't got poison grenades to stick down some extra cleave, because poison is great. You can see there it does some damage, as well as the minus 33% heal effectiveness. So if people are trying to go down for a res, that's less effective. If people are trying to regenerate themselves while you're in a fight and you just want to sustain it and keep their healing down, poison is an extra thing to put onto them so that they stop doing that, as well as some extra damage as well. So it's really good kind of counter pressure, and also it can break through things like guardian bubbles, also crystalline hibernation from Revenant, for example. If you pull that out, you can put down your poison from Fumigate, which is really good. So you can pressure people when they've got actually some nice abilities up themselves. So just make sure you're ticking over some extra damage, and they're not able to heal as much as they would like to when they're using some kind of defensive utility. So acid bomb. And this is a thing to note as well. The acid bomb is an elixir, so you leap backward, spraying an acidic elixir on the ground that damages nearby foes. Now, this ability, unlike the 3 previous ones, has actually been augmented by the traits that I'm running. So you can see there I am getting might, and I'm getting 2 stacks. Might, obviously, per stack gives you extra 60 power, and extra 30 power, and an extra 30 condition damage. That trait there, the actual blue, is telling you the total amount of stats that it's giving you, but it's 30 per stack. So obviously, 2 stacks is 60 per stat there as well. So power and condition. That is being augmented through the trait here, HGH. So elixirs grant might, have a reduced recharge, and have increased duration. So you can see there the cooldown is 12 seconds currently in the moment. So let's take it away from the elixir, and you can see now it is 15. So of course that is working correctly, and elixir is giving you might and also the extra cooldown. Now what's great about acid bomb, not just the blast finisher, the combo blast finish you can see there, or the unblockable, which a lot of people forget as well. It's just good for mobility, so let's have a look here. So if you're trying to, say you're attacking a foe, you're quite low HP, and maybe you just want to get away, you want to create some distance between yourself, you can use that skill to actually get away. Now that's a big distance there, 550, and you can see the damage that's ticking off there as well. It's a nice little ability, I mean, how much damage is it doing? 637 there as well on 5 targets, and it's just good. It's a great extra combo finisher. So let's have a look here. Put down my heal, do the standard thing where we blast it, and obviously we can use that skill to combo up some extra healing for ourselves as well. So not only is it in mobility, wise it can be used, but also to give you a nice extra bit of blast healing as well, so you can really help yourself out in terms of your survival. So a lot of people use this to disengage. A lot of people use this to actually, you know, forward their movement, because they're, you know, they're running towards a capture point. They want to turn, they want to get back to the capture point quite quickly, or they want to advance quite quickly. They might do an about face, they might use the skill, and they might continue to run, because it's a little bit faster than just running with your swiftness, of course. So, you know, it's a good skill to pick up in terms of moving forward, moving backwards, so retreat, advance, defense. It's just great, you know, it's got a lot of mobility, it's a nice skill. Extra duration as well, 6 seconds, and yeah, that's pretty much it. It's got a lot to it. Then we've got Super Elixir. So launch an Elixir Orb. An Elixir Orb. Healing allies on impact, creating an area of continual healing. So you remove a condition with this as well. You've got the 2 might stacks as well, because guess what? It's an elixir. It's got extra pulses, and the duration as well is extended, because of course this is being augmented from the traits through HGH, of course, because there is a longer duration. So obviously there's going to be more pulses, so that's why that's blue. And, you know, 5 targets as well. Again, combo light field. Light field, it gives you retaliation. So let's put this down here as well. You can see quite clearly it is a combo blast. It is a combo field, because you've got the puzzle there. Use our blast, and guess what? So we're going to give ourselves retaliation. So, you know, there's some synergy even between the 2 elixir skills here, between Acid Bomb and also Super Elixir, because you're able to grab yourself some retaliation, which is always good. So at the moment, I mean, this helps your sustainability in terms of, you know, your condition removal, even increasing your damage, because you're giving yourself some extra might. You know, you get an extra 4 stacks of might, sorry. Get some healing, depending whether or not what you're running in your traits, because I'm running with rapid regeneration here, so that's where Glob Shot can be extra useful there as well. And then, you know, we've got other skills which are going to help us. We've got traits as well, which help to augment our Elixir Gun and give it great effectiveness here as well. So if we go to the traits quickly, you know, Inversion Enzyme is one of these, where Elixir Gun abilities that remove conditions now convert them into boons instead. So you remove the condition, but now you actually are able to get the boon out of it as well. So that's pretty nice. Now, it's not a massive... There you can see conditions converted to boons, and that's 5. So that was the original condition removal. So that's for yourself, that's for your allies. So it's not bad at all. I mean, I've tried this sometimes. It's kind of fun. But, I mean, in terms of, you know, what you'd run here regularly, it would be Elixir S. But, you know, Backpack Regenerator as well is one of those traits which works with kits quite well, but isn't being used so much at the moment. It's just, you know, a nice amount of sustained healing. It's just a tick of damage tick of healing every second for 117 as a base. But yeah, I mean, Inversion Enzyme isn't used that much, but I just thought I would point it out that that's one of the main, you know, traits that can come along with the Elixir Gun if you should so wish. I would always check to make sure you know what's being run at the moment, because it's probably not as strong as, say, Elixir S, the self-regulating defenses. Well, it's definitely not at the moment, that's for sure. But yeah, it's a great little build. It's a lot of fun, especially, you know, the Elixir Gun. You can get a lot of mobility that I was talking about before. It offers you the great, you know, condition removal, as well as, you know, what I was talking about before in terms of the tool belt skill. We get another elixir. So as I said before, when you put a utility here and you've got an Elixir Gun, of course, you are going to get your tool belt skills, and the Healing Mist is one of those. So Elixir, vent a healing mist granting regeneration to yourself and allies. Because of course you have alchemical tinctures, so throwing or consuming elixirs removes conditions from those affected. Your boon duration is increased. This is going to remove a condition and give us might, because it's an elixir as well, and our regeneration has also been changed through our traits as well, with the extension of that duration, of course. So it is pretty useful in the end of the day for condition removal, for some healing, for some extra poison to make sure they're not going to be able to regenerate themselves as well and give them less rezzing power, to give you some mobility in terms of Glob Shot with the swiftness, and the Acid Bomb in terms of that kind of retreat. And then obviously we've got the bleed and the stacking weakness, which we can keep putting on as well, which will stop them from attacking so efficiently and also being able to avoid attacks. So, you know, that's weakness is... people don't think about it as much as maybe they should. Weakness is very strong. You know, it decreases their mobility, their avoidance of skills, and decreases their ability to put damage onto you as well. So, you know, weakness is a very good thing to have and to apply when you can, because it, you know, doesn't enable your enemy to actually sustain as much. So, you know, it's something to think about, and maybe something we don't think about or talk about too much in Guild Wars 2 especially. Other than that, Elixir Gun, thumbs up. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to ask any questions if I missed anything, which might be possible in the way that you possibly use this in your build, then of course let me know. Remember that this is a combo finisher blast. It can be worked with any combo field, not just the light field. I did show you it working with the healing turret water field as well. For example, you can use it with a fire field, say if you're running with the flamethrower, of course. You can see I'm going to get some additional might there as well. Whether or not you use that in your build is completely up to you, but I will see you on another video.